Good evening, everybody. Sorry about the late start, tech things and, chatter and stuff behind the scenes, but welcome to Dune Desertfall here on Modiphius. I am Trevor. I will be your GM or your desert talker. I don't know. There's no real term for it. But before we get into the really spicy stuff tonight, have some business. The biggest thing, and it's amazing, Star Trek Adventures 2.0 just dropped for pre-order. This is awesome. It's the core rule book, the GM screen, and 3 variant covers. Now, unlike the variant covers for Dune and stuff like that are in the warehouse, these variant covers will never be printed again. They're done. They're limited edition. You get one or you don't. So if you really like that kind of collectible or you're a really big Star Trek fan, by all means, go and grab them. The pre-sale's up now, and I cannot wait for SCA 2.0. I'm so jazzed. Also, if you like 2D20 systems, Fallout is still 33% off, thanks to the folks at Vault 33. And if you're a Fallout fan, that is the thing to get. Now, if you're watching tonight here in chat, we're going to be giving away a Roll20 plugin for Dune Adventures in the Imperium. And I'm not going to reveal the secret yet, but you want to stick around and come to the finale because something really cool is going to be given away. I can't mention it yet. I'm dying to. But yeah, can't get into it yet. It's gonna be so cool. Anyway, that's enough for business. Now we get into the spicy stuff. No pun intended. Last week, a bomb dropped, almost literally. Jamelia, one of the housemaids, currently under tutelage, shall we say, from Sister Lyra Dew, the handmaiden to Lady Jessica Atreides, seemed a little skittish while Lyra and Demira were having a conversation in one of the rooms. She left Paul Atreides' bedroom very, very quickly. Lyra went after her to see what was wrong. Demira, however, thought that was a little bit strange. So she went in to investigate and found that the bed had not been completely made. It was still wrinkled. And naturally, as is part of their job as Atreides agents, Demira started searching the room. And she found a very deadly trap. In the glow globe, the light source above Paul Atreides' future bed, are hundreds of small poison needles. Anyone laying in that bed for too long would have this rain of death fall on them. A trap set for the heir of House Atreides. Thinking about it, Demira realized that Jamelia isn't that type of person and doesn't have the skills to set that kind of trap. The 3 remaining agents, Lord Reese and the 2 sisters, approached Jamelia, and she broke down and revealed that she was passing information to her lover, Anton, who lives in Arrakeen. This is, of course, distressing because it is both files from all of the mining folders and information about the possible spice trade that House Atreides is going to take over, and also a little bit of information about the Residency itself, which is very concerning. Jamelia also produced a safe cracker, a very intricate one that she used specifically to get into the safe in the office of the Residency to steal that mining information. The 3 agents decided to take her because she was due to meet Anton later that evening. And they ventured into the city to find Anton. Jamelia knows where he is, knows his associate Nia, who's a water seller and occasionally hangs out and stays at Anton's home. But the Atreides agents slowly make their way through the city of Arakeen as the sun sets toward Anton's house. Meanwhile, all of this is going on. Novieh and the housemaid Shala, another one of Lyra's possible students or under their tutelage, are carrying the body of Aisha, the housemaid that inadvertently learned that Novieh is a House Atreides assassin. Novieh, Shala leads you as you both carry this body through one of the auxiliary doors. There you find a hangar. In it are a few Atreides ornithopters, but they're anchored and off, just waiting for their pilots, likely from the advance group that was sent here as part of a security force that went with Duncan, Idaho. And then out beyond the hangar is just a very small landing pad. It is dark, it is quiet, and no one is around that you know of. Shala looks at you with great concern. And remember, Lyra sent her specifically to go with you. Shala looks around and looks at you with concern and goes, how do we carry the body through Arakeen?
I'm really starting this off with a real bad idea. You said the ornithopters are around, right?
They are
What
locked. They are secured to the deck of the hangar and they are shut down.
what about their fuel though? Would their fuel tanks be around?
They could be accessible if you knew what you were doing.
Well, I'm just thinking about like what I want to see if there are any like barrels or anything that we can put the body into, so I can just wheel it into the the city itself. Because I'm thinking, right, because if the ornithopters are there, there has to be some sort of like storage crates or something like that in order
Oh yeah,
to yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Um, this is a novel idea. I like this. Give me I would say an understand check of, I would actually say it's a little challenging. So it's a difficulty 2 because you're
So
unfamiliar with the hangar. Ornithopters kind of aren't your thing. And trying to find a crate large enough for a body, that it's going to be a little interesting.
so would uh I'm thinking duty is is gonna be my drive here, because my statement is I uphold the light so it may create the shadows I operate in. Because I'm really trying to keep my cover right now, but
Yeah.
these are some of my lower stats.
Yeah, I would say duty would apply
Okay,
because it is your duty as an assassin to get rid of people and to get rid of people.
and I don't have a focus for understand, so I can't use that.
You can always give me threat.
How much threat do you have since I wasn't in the
Currently,
last game?
currently 12.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah. Lyra kind of threw me 3 of them in order to overtly use the voice against Jamelia. And yeah,
We
You
had
know
some
what?
really bad rolls.
Yeah, you
really
know what?
bad
Yeah,
rolls.
let's start this off
Oh, I
spicy.
definitely said we ball, and I was also too a contributor of the threat. So
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I
with the
apologize.
bomb. Yeah, with the
yeah,
glow globe trap. Yeah.
lucky number 13, right? Like,
Let's go.
I'll give you one threat.
Okay, I'll give you a D20 for that.
Okay, so understand. We're doing duty. I'm rolling 3 die now instead of 2, correct?
Yep.
And not with a focus.
And you're aiming for 2 successes, which you do not get.
Oh no! Oh, this is
There
not
are
going well.
there are cases around, And the first one you open is actually full of armaments. There are las guns. It's like Atreides soldiers' weapons. There's nowhere to put this stuff if you unload that crate. And that's the only one that is open. The others are locked or too small or too heavy. It will be very obvious to pull Aisha's body around in a marked House Atreides army armament case.
Now I want to I want to honor the fiction on this one, right? If I try to think of another way to get the body through town, is there like any sort of penalties, or like can I keep searching? What like
In the it will be progressively more difficult to search the hangar.
Okay. Hmm. So I have one case which is going to make me immediately suspicious.
Yes. Like the first person to see it would be like, what? Why are they carrying like a case full of weaponry through the city?
Remind me, okay, the person that's with me that Lyra sent over, their name again?
Shala.
What do we know about Shala?
Shala is was one of the first that Lyra approached. She's very hardworking. Younger, about like mid to late 20s. Very dutiful, listens to Mara, listens to Lyra, is usually the first to respond to job requests. She's also a little bit suspicious of Shakir. She was the one that mentioned that since he is very brash and big and out there and kind of arrogant, and even made a pass at him, it sounds like he's trying to gather information or know as many people as he can.
Okay. And before she was under Lyra, what was she doing specifically in the house?
She was one of the housemaids, so she was doing linens, making sure bedrooms were clean, mainly working in the ballroom and the dining hall.
Oh, I got a bad idea. Okay. The scene is that I search around and I can only find the crate, and I know that this is going to get us caught.
Yep.
And I look to Shala and I say, you dealt specifically with the bedrooms before you were in Lyra's employ, correct?
Just occasionally, mainly the guest bedroom. I wasn't allowed to work on the ducal bedroom or any of the family ones. That was Jamelia.
The guests would not have been as kind to the room as your master is to you. What
Likely
would
not.
you what would you do if you had to dispose of anything in the bedrooms, specifically a mattress?
We would we would take them out. We would take them out and usually take them to one of the waste collectors. Um, and she thinks for a second. She just kind of pauses. Let me see if she will remember this. Let's see.
Yeah, if anybody's gonna roll well, it has to be Trevor now. Great.
Um, yeah, she'll use duty. She will. She does not have a focus. She pauses and just can't think. She's like, there was something that Cora did, and and she's growing very frustrated and very worried. Maybe we can pay someone.
I
There people say there are death stills that people run that loved ones are taken to, or things like that, that they reduce the body's water, and then give you water tokens in return. I don't know if they do that with anyone. I know Nava went to one for something. I
Okay.
don't remember why, and she didn't say, but she had to go to one. I think I remember where it is. I don't know.
This is such a okay. Okay. Trevor, I want to play this as seriously as possible, and I'm sorry in advance for this,
Go for
okay?
it. Go
Okay.
for it.
What if we weekend at Bernie's this? Like, what
Uh,
if I can grab something with wheels and have her sit, maybe put like one of the empty bottles from the trash that looks like she was drinking a little bit too much and then wheel her over to the death stills?
I'll allow it. Not in the area, but moving across the small landing courtyard to the gates on that side. I'll give you a roll to check outside real quick to see if there's a cart or something that you
Yeah,
could
let's
use.
do it.
Okay. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. You do not know the city, and naturally you're a little flustered, and Shala is not adding to the situation at all. So this will be a difficulty 3.
Okay.
This is a
And
daunting task.
what skill would I be using for this?
This is also understand.
Okay.
You're trying to look at the area around you, see what you can see. I would say your duty absolutely still applies.
Okay.
Unless you have another one.
If I gave you 2 threat, how much would I get
You would get 2
back?
additional dice.
I'm gonna do that.
Okay. Threats at 15 now.
All right. So
What
then I get 2 dice.
what drive are you using? Duty again?
Duty again. It's really the only one that makes sense. I could
Uh
tr
I
I
was
could
gonna
try to
say
do faith. I could try to do faith because I
uh
am trying to keep the night quiet.
yeah, your statement is problems are only solved in the quiet.
Yeah.
This
So
is a problem and you're trying to be really fucking quiet. This
okay, I
is
got
a
2 dice.
this is you're dealing with espionage level shit trying to get a dead body out of the most recognizable building in Arakeen to a place that you don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, this is a problem. So yeah, that would be 4 dice, please.
Okay, okay, okay.
Oh, but
That's 2 1s. That's 2 1s.
it's also 2 20s.
Oh no! Oh no! Okay, wait, but wait.
This is honestly the second to worst possible roll. The worst one being 420s. No pun intended, chat.
Okay,
Um,
wait, but
so 2 1s, each one is a critical success and 2 successes.
uh-huh.
Each 0 is a critical failure, a complication.
Okay.
I will give you the option. I am going to make this complicated as fuck. Or you give me 2 threat per complication to take them away.
I've already given you 3, so we're at 15.
Mm-hmm.
If I gave you 2 complication, if I gave you 2 threat per complication, that would be up to 19.
Yes.
When do these
But
start kicking in, Trevor?
very soon, actually.
But
That will give you 4 successes, which will mean you will hit it, and you will have momentum.
you know, I always try to live with the idea of when you play a character, especially for a very short time, like you got to drive it like a stolen car. And yeah, like here's your 4th threat, Trevor.
Yes.
Really, my biggest motivation is to get back to everybody to complete the narrative with everybody else. So I feel like this is the fastest way in order to get back to everybody else.
Yeah, just to
Wait,
let
hold
you all
on.
know.
Can we have a say in this? Can we have a say in this?
Or not.
don't know.
Unfortunately,
Or
unfortunately
not.
not. As the system works, anyone can add to threat at any time, and anyone can use anything in the momentum pool at any time.
I'm just saying you don't have to get back to us that quickly.
Okay, but
If
also,
he comes back in one piece.
if you think about it, also, I just put a momentum in the pool, so you're welcome. So
If you don't use it immediately. Yeah, now remember, I can add, using threat, I can buy D20s, I can increase difficulty, I can have non-player characters spend it, I can buy off my own complications. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, 19 is good. It's very good.
okay, that makes me more worried.
As you look outside, you notice that right outside is a small cart. Very easy to push. The wheels are in great shape. And the sides are high enough that you could either put something deep in the cart or drape some cloth over it in order to hide the contents.
I think that's what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna have it was Shala, correct?
Yes.
I'm gonna have Shala lead the way, and I'll
Okay.
push the cart myself.
It's a little slow. She's kind of moving and stopping because she's not entirely sure where it is. In one of the slower parts, she kind of slows down, and you notice her looking back at you and looking at the cart. And she slows down and begins walking next to you and just very honestly and very straightforward goes, "How did this happen? And why are you taking responsibility for it?"
I feel as if my answer depends on my next question. Has your new master Lyra instructed you to ask this question?
No. I'm curious because my mistress is, as you know, more than she seems. And I'm wondering about the other three of you. You all seem far more competent than simple people coming and checking on a building.
I say this with concern for your own livelihood and calm. It is better to be ignorant than all knowing in a world like this.
She looks at you with a little tiny bit of concern and then smiles and nods. I'm glad that I'm on your side. And
I think he puts oh sorry, go for it.
No, go. I was just going to say she keeps directing you through the city.
I think to like I'm not trying to be cruel in the scenario. Like I'm trying to keep her outside of something that is much bigger than her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the next thing that I say is I appreciate your want to know, but if if I had the choice at the beginning, my choice would be to fold linens and dust guest rooms.
I understand. Sometimes people are forced to do what they must. And your house is taking over a very large responsibility. And she just kind of like nods to herself and then moves back to the front of the cart. And you see her, she is relaxed now. She's not flighty or nervous or anything. She's actually walking a little straighter, paying more attention to the surroundings, and much calmer now that you had that small talk. And it takes a little while, almost 3/4 of an hour, because you're taking these back streets, and occasionally someone will like look toward you because you're not dressed as a native of Arakeen. But Shala just kind of distracts them slightly and says, "Oh, we have to go this way to get the food," and
Oh,
things like that.
I am dressed as a native.
You are? I thought you were still dressed as a steward.
Well,
Oh
it's a
no.
steward because I had to borrow the
That's right.
clothing. Yeah.
That's right. So yeah, go back. You're actually not looked at all. In that case, I forgot. My apologies. I forgot that you had changed into residency clothing. You finally get down an alley. Shala starts walking a lot slower, and down the alley and kind of off to the side, there's a small alcove, and standing outside is a thin gentleman. These thin cotton robes draped over his form. He does have a shawl up, and he kind of looks toward your direction, and there are these bright blue within blue eyes. And he steps toward you. And Shala pauses and turns to you really quick. "Do you have any money?"
Would I be carrying money?
Probably would be. I mean, you're
Okay.
from House Atreides.
Yeah.
It's not like,
okay.
yeah,
Some, but
two, maybe 3 Solari.
how much Solari? How much Solari would I be carrying for, say, like a regular grocery run?
Oh, probably like 5 or 6.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So I say yes, but please follow my lead when the gentleman starts talking.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then he, because you're speaking with Shala, and Shala has come up to you,
Mhm.
and he comes up, and very deeply tanned skin, a rough beard you can see. He's looking at you, and his hand just kind of settles at his waist, and he looks down at the cart, and he looks up at the two of you. "I will give you 10 water tokens if you pay me 3 Solari."
How can I'm trying to turn this into my advantage? Uh, uh, what's an honorific that like maybe used on the planet or to Fremen in general? Like, is there something that I can call him in order to show respect at this point?
Not that you know of, not really.
I would bow my head very deeply, and I would say, uh, there has been an unfortunate accident in it, oh, in wait, what was the house? I'm sorry, in Arakeen, correct? In the house
Yeah.
Arakeen, yeah. There has been an unfortunate accident, and we have been asked to take care of this quietly and with respect. With respect, could we send the water tokens to this woman's family instead of having House Arakeen lay claim to it?
He thinks for a second. "We will do what we can."
He asked for 3 Solari. I give him 5.
He kind of looks at you as you pass him 5, and he takes the Solari in his left hand, and he spits into his right hand and holds it out to you.
I shake it and I say, "This is not from me, but from the generosity of House Atreides."
He stares at you as you say that
Uh-oh.
and reaches into his pocket where his hand was resting and pulls out 10 water tokens and hands them to you. Leave the cart. We will deal.
Thank you. And we bow again and then and shuffle away.
Yeah, Shala is on your heels.
Yeah.
She's just like, I want nothing to do with this.
Yeah. As we turn the corner, I hand the water tokens over to Shala and I tell her, and I drop the demeanor again, right? I drop I drop the act because she's seen me at work now, right?
Yes. Well, she saw you just briefly after,
Yeah.
but
And
has like
yeah.
knows you're responsible for this, but again, tried to ask politely, and she at this point doesn't want to know.
I am a steward of my word. Please send this to please send this to the family. And he specifically makes sure not to say the name of the victim.
She takes the water tokens and kind of looks. She was an outworlder, but I think she had some, at least family or friends in town.
Good.
Should I do this now or later?
What time is it in the night?
It's getting into deep dusk. The sun has it's basically nautical twilight at this point.
Got it.
The shadows are very long. It'll probably take you, like, if you were to leave right now for the residency, you would be arriving at night.
Yeah. I ask that you do this at your leisure. And I think we just start heading back.
Okay. And she's like, "Yes, sir." And she's traveling with you. And she's heading toward some more main thoroughfares just to kind of break up the pattern that you came down. The other three agents, you are currently following Jamelia as she is taking you through the city of Arakeen, and the shadows are getting longer. And you're heading toward one of the more well-off sections of the city. As you're walking through, the city is coming to life. There's people starting to sit outside, either on a small balcony or on their porch. They're smoking this rich herb. There are smells of spice and cinnamon, of exotic dishes being made. There's chatter, laughter, even some music. And as you get deeper into the better parts of the city, it just gets more and more friendly and open. There are porches and then plazas, small attachments to the side of buildings that are just posts with either a hard top or some tarp. And people are in there sitting at tables eating food, and they look at you briefly as you walk by, but then go right about to their business. Because Jamelia is with you, and she is from Arakeen. As you begin walking, or as you continue to walk, Demira, how well, I mean, it's going to be a weird question. And I will allow it to, to metagame it. How aware are you right now of where you're going? Are you using your talent of hyper awareness? Are you trying to really maintain a mental map of where you're going and trying to, seek out anything that may be going on?
I will say that most definitely. Sister Demira will be actually further back from the group, kind of with, as you said, that the city comes alive. She's kind of blending within it. So it's almost like kind of the weaving of like just this person kind of not really, like she's already nondescript as is, but with the black clothing kind of just going in, weaving in and out, trying to still keep an eye on the group, but also too, she would be, of course, using her hyper awareness to try to see, for example, are they being followed? Is there movement from either side? Kind of paying attention to all those details as they're approaching what is potentially a big threat.
Okay. Arzu, you have constantly watching and passive scrutiny. Are you doing the same?
Yep.
Okay. I would like from each of you a understand roll at difficulty 2.
Okay. Would constantly watching knock this down since I guess I'm
Yeah,
trying to see
actually,
if there's
yeah,
any.
whenever you attempt a skill test, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, so you don't have to roll because it's a minimum of 0. Demira, however, it's still a yeah, you still have an understand of 2. What would your drive be?
Ooh.
Oh, that was duty.
Okay.
Because especially since Arzu is basically kind of at the front with Lyra, her duty is to making sure that both of them are safe in this
Damn.
situation.
So Arzu, you hear it and feel it first, and Demira, you are right after him. You hear very recognizable footsteps. Novieh, you see the rest of the group with Jamelia walking across the intersection you're coming up to with Shala. And Arzu and Demira, this is a full-blown, like, I know you by your footsteps, old man. You have worked with Novieh for a considerable amount of time, and you're actively looking for him. So he's walking towards your intersection, and Shala is with him. And Novieh, you notice the 3 of them crossing the intersection, and they're with Jamelia.
Well, that makes this rather easy, doesn't it? He does not turn to look at Novieh.
I think he walks right next to Tarzu, and without even acknowledging what he had said, he says, "It is done," and that's it. And he just starts following and doesn't know where you all are going, but he just starts following.
Well, that is. I can't call it good news, but at least it's one less thing we have to worry about.
Jamelia looks a little frightened and kind of like, what the hell? As Novieh and Shala walk up. And Shala goes directly up to Lyra. Mistress, the shopping was finished. May I go back to the residency now?
You can.
Thank you, mistress. And she kind of like second glances over at Novieh, and then there's a moment where she looks really concerned towards Jamelia, wondering what's going on. But then that just drops, and she immediately turns and begins heading back to the residency. Jamelia kind of looks back at the four of you. It's like, why was she here?
I just deliver a quick.
She like immediately just, she's
Mhm.
already in an incredibly uncomfortable situation and is not not happy. Not this is not a fun thing for her. So she's just like, she shuts down and just begins walking almost hurriedly at this point. And you make a few turns and you come up to this modest home. A few steps are leading up to this rather nice wooden door. There's a small, there's a small carving of what looks like sand dunes on the lintel, on the arch over the door. And standing outside it is a younger man, black hair, smoking, just smoking this, sort of rolled tobacco. And he looks up and immediately just stops and looks concerned. Doesn't move, just stops, looking at the five of you walking up.
Arzu keeps a casual pace. Evening.
Hello?
You look concerned.
There are four of you coming up with my friend's girlfriend.
What's your names?
My name is Nia. Or Naya, sorry. I'm a friend of Anton's.
Oh yes, yes. And is he in?
Well, yes, the three of us were going to have
Perfect.
dinner.
And he, as soon as he says yes, Arzu is past him.
He shoots a glare at Jamelia. He's not moving. He like, instead of leaning against the wall, he's kind of like a little bit straight, instead of his heel up against it. He's like, he's down. It's not like a defensive move. He's just like, and he is just glaring at Jamelia.
As Arzu passes Naya, he puts his hand up with like that kind of a gesture. Demir would recognize that as, just not to be completely secretive, as like a keep an eye on this one, I'm going in kind of.
Yeah, like Demira is very far back. So if he did see, like she's far enough away to not look like she's a part of the group. But she would have been within range to see the signal, and basically to follow.
Okay.
And Arzu is going in the nearest door.
Yeah, he does match eyes with each of you as you all walk in. Not too concerned, but just like, other than the glare he gave to Jamelia, just kind of like, okay, what is going on here?
Demira does not immediately walk in, by the way.
Okay.
I was going to ask who else is following.
Neither does Lyra. Lyra does a dozy-do with Jamelia and wants to pull her aside for a quick second.
Oh, I go right inside with Arzu.
So who's staying outside, Lyra and Demira? Okay,
and Jamira
and Jamelia. all the us are staying outside with Naya.
Yeah, especially because that was the order for me to keep an eye on this person, and this person has not entered the doorway, so she is not moving.
He's just kind of looking at the three of you and then goes right back to smoking. Very calmly.
I would like to get out of earshot of Naya with Jamelia.
Okay.
Arzu walks in with I don't want to. His. I'll put it this way. You can't really see where his hands are at.
Okay.
At least one of them, if necessary. So like, if he's going in, he's probably like using his foot to open the door, or kind of just like brushing it aside with his shoulder. But you can't really quite see where his hands are.
Got it. By the way, the threat is now at 17. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Trevor, what did you do?
Naya.
That's a nice little complication there, but
There's
what'd you
absolutely
do?
a complication. Naya is extremely composed with everything that's going on outside. There was a moment where he was kind of like suspicious that 3 of you are staying outside, but then he goes directly back to smoking. On the interior, as the 2 of you walk in, there is a young man, probably, I don't know, maybe 10 years older than Jamelia, suddenly looks up from behind a desk, kind of kicks the chair out, and stands up. He's like, "What are you doing in my house? Who are you?"
son, are you familiar with House Reese?
No.
I'm as Arzu starts speaking, I start walking like because there's like a safe distance to where like a servant would stand away from their lord. That's the safe distance I do, but it's just in case something happens. We at least have 2 plans of attack.
Got it. Lyra, you move Jamelia away from Naya, and Demira, you're still maintaining a look at Naya because he hasn't gone inside yet.
That is correct. I'm paying attention to, I want to focus. I'm like doing a full head to toe, my own mental scan of this person. So probably where I will move within a closer distance in order to try to see like if I can spot anything or where his hands are placed, that kind of thing.
Okay. You can spend momentum for your hyper awareness. There is 3 in the pool currently.
I think I'm gonna hold off because I feel like things are about to get interesting. So
Okay.
I'm gonna hold off, but just at a glance, what's it looking like?
Lyra, you are you pull Jamelia away. Jamelia looks like she's about to cry.
I need you to stay strong, dear sister.
What if he accuses me of working with him?
You're going to be safe, I promise. But I
Yes,
need
ma'am.
you to do something very special and very quick.
What?
How well can you blend in and get back to the residency, and how fast?
Very.
Be discreet. Go back to the residency and find Shala.
Yes, ma'am. And
Disappear.
she looks at you and then looks at the weird situation between Demira and Naya right now and looks at the door, and she is on her heels and discreetly but quickly moving away.
With that happening, Lyra turns her attention back to her sister, and like she knows her sister's stance when she's ready to like prowl. Like she doesn't have to see the face or anything, like she knows what's going on. We do have an ability that I have actually not been able to use quite yet, or rather it's a focus, and I want to see if I can kind of incorporate it. We have a secret language together. And I want to be able to pass communication to her.
Absolutely. Let me just double check something with Naya real quick. Yeah, he has no concept of any kind of secret written or hand language that either of you would know. He wouldn't even be able to recognize it.
So I very quickly grab Demira's hand and I place a note like in the palm of her hand. So very, very quick. If Demira chooses to read it, it's in our secret language in our dots that says kill him. And I simply walk in and stand behind Novieh if possible.
Okay. Naya watches you walk in. Like, very pointedly watches you. Demira, you notice that. Like, he is looking at her.
Mm-hmm. That has he moved his body in the direction, in her
No.
direction?
Nope. He
No,
just
just
moves
watching.
his head.
Okay.
He just, as she walks in, just moves his head. He's still very calm, but he definitely watches her step in.
Can I do something within that time? I want to have moved so swiftly where I am up at his person.
Oh, crap. Ah. Someone has subtle step. Yeah. Um, yeah, give me a move. It's a move of 1. He's composed, but he's right now looking at Lyra. Come on. He doesn't even 1, he doesn't hear you. 2, he definitely doesn't see you.
With that, and I might have to do something. I mean, I think that was a 1 that I did get.
Oh yes. Yeah, no, you hit it.
I am
And
curious
there's
with
two more in the the momentum is currently at 5.
I want to I feel like there is in that time, I want to basically try to grab grab at his person because I feel like he has a weapon on him.
Okay.
And I want to basically remove that and have it now where it is now mine.
Can I help with the distraction real quick since he is looking at me? I do forget to say this often, but I have well, it's under personality traits, but I'm striking. So that kind of add like a disadvantage to him.
I will drop his difficulty. Actually, I will counter that by spending a threat.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so this is what I want to do.
Threat's
I'm going to use 2 momentum. I'm going to use 2 momentum.
Okay.
In this moment to create a scenario, to create a trait.
Do it.
I'm creating a trait that he has, and you can tell me, because within reason, what weapon you feel like he would have on his person, because Demira is going to take that and basically try to turn it on him in that instant. So if that's possible, I don't know what we feel he would have on his person, but
Okay. Well, are you going to use this to create a trait or to obtain information?
no, I'm creating a trait.
Got
Something that would be reasonable, because given this situation, we've already established that they probably are more than they seem. The fact that they were, somebody's already placed a trap. We know that they're dangerous. So at this point, I already know that they probably more than likely 90% sure they would have a weapon on them. So yeah.
You deal with Arzu all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You are at the Atreides household. This man is military.
Mm-hmm.
He likely either has a concealed knife or possibly even a laser gun on it.
The laser gun would be loud, correct?
It's creates a superheated pocket of air that a laser goes through. So yeah, it's kind of like a charging battery, kind of like those the old flash disposable camera batteries. It's like, and then kind of like a pop.
Mhm.
It would be noticeable.
Okay. I would take that, take the knife, in order to basically keep it discreet. In order to basically, to move in on this individual, even though he's military.
Got it. Give me a battle roll, please. And this will be a counter roll. You're going against him. The difficulty is going to be, is only going to be 2. Because it was going to be 1 with Lyra's striking, but I'm burning that threat to get rid of that. So the threat is currently at 16. Oof. Yeah, he's using a focus. Oh, I'm terribly sorry. You move in. He does not see you move, but he feels your hand
Mm-hmm.
and immediately pushes your hand out of the way and is drawing his laser gun. He will have it pointed at you.
Okay.
Back on the inside, Lyra, you walk in, you're standing behind Novieh. You notice that there is a man behind a desk who's in a very defensive position, and he is yelling at Arzu and Novieh, and he's like, who the fuck are you? What are you doing in my house? Who do you think you are? Arzu, I
What's
think
your
you
name,
were muted.
son?
Who wants to know? Who
Me.
are you? What's your name?
Who's Jamelia?
Jamelia is my girlfriend. What's it to you?
I want to use passive scrutiny.
Ooh, okay.
I want to see. Tell me, lovely Trevor, where are his points of egress?
I hate passive scrutiny. There is naturally the door you came in, but there is a hallway heading off this room, and from the outside, you realize there's at least 2 other exits. There is one to one of those posted patios, and likely one in the back that would be a service entrance closer to where the larder or pantry is.
Okay. Arzu doesn't say a whole lot, but he does move to kind of be able to intercept. Like, he's not getting directly in that space, because I think Anton would see that as like a direct threat. But like, he's moving to the point where if Anton chooses to run, he can get over that desk real fast.
As you move, he's pivoting.
Uh-huh.
He's watching you start to kite him, and he pivots slightly, so he's kind of at an angle between you, Novieh, and Lyra. Like, he does not like the fact that you're moving into a position.
Oh yeah, no. And like I said, I'm not moving directly into position where like I'm blocking off one of those exits, just
Right.
enough that like if he decides to bolt, I have an advantage. Y'all can call me Arzu, Lord Reese. Your new best friend. And he has a little bit of like a cat that ate the canary smile when he says that. Any of
Good
those
for
works.
you.
Any of those works fine for me. I'm gonna be your new best friend.
My best friend's Knock.
Well,
Now, we can do a couple things here. You either tell me why you're here, or my friend outside will come in, and we will all discuss what you're doing here.
Oh, him? Yeah, I don't think he's coming in right yet, but I will oblige. You see, I happen to know that you can kind of see Arzu's hand, like right hand coming up, but it's mostly empty once it flashes through. And he kind of raises his fingers like this, and in between his fingers is a small scrap of paper. And he goes, I know that you have been hiding a little something there, Anton. And he kind of like does like this with his fingers to emphasize like the piece of paper says something about him.
He kind of shrugs and says, "What? What's this intimidation thing?" And he looks over.
Oh, no, sir. This is not an intimidation thing.
What, are you trying to shake me down for my spice? Is that what this is?
Oh, ho, ho, ho. What spice, Anton?
I'm a spice trader, dumbass.
You're more than a spice trader, Anton.
Am I? And he actually, you see him reach down onto his desk. There's no weapon visible.
Uh-huh.
But he picks up what looks like some sort of identification and throws it at you. What's that say, Lord Reese?
He does not move to pick it up, and he kind of like steps to the side as it flies by so that like if Novieh or Lyra would like to go and pick it up, they can.
Just as like nonchalantly as possible, can I just catch it like in
Yeah.
the air?
Oh yeah, no, I'll just hand it to you on that. Yeah. They are spice trader credentials. He has full credentials to do spice mining and trading within the city of Arakeen.
Is this like just a scrap of paper, or is this
Oh
like
no,
a business card?
like it's more like an ID. Think of it as like kind of a not as chunky multi-pass.
Okay, got it.
It has digital a digital printing of his face, Anton Garris, what spice mining company he works for that the GM is just not going to make up on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
And other information, his address and account number. It's spice trader and spice mining credentials.
He does like Arzu has not seen that. He doesn't look backwards, but he does. Master Novieh, can you tell me what happens if somebody is hiding some spice off the books?
Lord Reese, I believe that would be severe legal penalties, especially hiding from the incoming house that will be taking over the spice trade in the next few days.
Interesting.
You dare accuse me of being a spice smuggler? Those are my credentials.
And
Lyra, do you click like that?
Oh no. I moved closer to Arazu.
Oh God.
well,
I
ahead.
know we quoted another sci-fi movie, which is great, so I'm going to use the same one, Fifth Element. When Plava Laguna like basically like leans over and she's saying something, but like nobody can hear what she's saying. So I lean towards Arazu and say, "Would you like me to give a try?"
You know, I'll go ahead, but before I do, and he steps aside so that Lyra can step forward. This says more than you think it does, Anton. I just want you to know that. And he puts the script of paper back in his pocket, and you can't see his hands anymore. And he's going to make a move to leave Lyra and Novieh to it. He's going to go and step back out because his intent now is to go around the outside, so to speak.
Okay. Speaking of outside, Demira, a laser gun is being raised and pointed at your chest.
She looks and doesn't move.
You're not moving?
No.
He's pulling the trigger.
In that split second, she moves again.
Okay, this will be a contested roll. His battle against your move.
All right.
And
Let's hope.
And I'm assuming you're using subtle step.
Yes.
Okay.
Sis, don't forget our power too.
Oh, of course.
Your
Front of
talent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with subtle step,
Because
if
then
you
I can
wanna-
re-roll.
Front of Bindu, you can re-roll. Subtle step gives you an extra D20 if you were going to use momentum to do it.
Oh, extra D20. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's do
Okay.
that, actually. In this situation, yeah, I think that still applies. Okay, so we're gonna do the 3 dice for this.
3 dice and you get a reroll of 1. I'm spending a threat to
All right.
to use 3 dice. Oh dear God.
Hey, let's go, baby.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
The wildest set of rolls I've ever seen.
I'm eating this one. I'm absolutely eating this one.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Brad, you gotta buy a lottery ticket after this.
Like I've burned my threat from 19 to 14 right now. Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's-
in that moment, she is looking dead in his eyes. And it's like that split moment when he tries, his finger tenses on that trigger, that she's no longer there. So she doesn't, there could be somebody behind. She doesn't care. In that moment, she literally moves to kind of basically just get around him. And that's through the training for the sisterhood, that she would have had that ability anyway for fighting.
There's this moment, this cinematic moment where the pistol is leveled almost point blank. And the camera zooms into him just pressing the trigger. And you move. You've already moved when this thin green beam pops from the las gun and impacts the wall across the way. I only had 1 success and a complication. You have 6 successes. Not only are you keeping the momentum of this entire interaction, I will hand you the complication that 1, you can easily pull the gun from his hand. If you want to spend 2 momentum, I'll let you shoot him for free.
I mean, I think we gotta do the thing. Just make it super matrix in this this Dune scenario, crossing over our genre.
So that pop happens. The bolt hits one of the walls and you just hear this crack. And his hand is now empty. And he begins, just in that same slow motion cinematic, begins to turn toward you. You have a las gun in your hand. Where do you shoot him? How do you dispatch Naya?
I'm
You're at
shooting
point
him.
blank range.
Mhm. I'm gonna shoot him directly where his heart is, directly in the chest.
There's this crack. You feel the pulse through the lasgun just kind of. There's a pop against the wall behind him, this small scorch mark. And there's a look of confusion on his face as he was turning, just continues to turn and slumps, falling prone, dead. Just these confused eyes looking up into the darkness of the Arakeen sky.
And
oh, go ahead.
And at that moment, Arzu like is at the door and
Yep.
and he's like he heard the crack, so he's like looking down as he comes out, and he goes, "Poor choice, son. Poor choice." And
In
he
that
steps over
moment,
his body so that Demira can be cleared.
and in that moment, as that happens, it's almost just like kind of like without any type of still the same kind of blank stare. She uses the sleeve of her garment to wipe the hilt and cover her hand to place the gun back into his hands as if he shot his own self.
Rude. Rude. Okay. As Arzu, as you leave, leaving Anton in there with Lyra and Novieh, all of you hear a recognizable pop as Arzu opens the door. And from outside, you just hear a thud. And Arzu's voice, "Bad choice, son." Anton looks very worried at this moment.
Arzu's eyes go from Naya to Demira's, and he lowers his voice. Two exits that I saw. I'm heading for the patio one, if you don't mind heading for the service in the back.
As you wish.
And he takes off like dead sprint because he's going around, and his hands are empty for now.
Got it.
But they won't be for long.
Inside Novieh, Lyra, Anton is growing very concerned. He knows Naya's dead at this point. He knows that either Arzu or someone else just shot him. And he's not making a move yet, but he is growing concerned. There's a look on concern on his face, and he's also beginning to just look cold after that. He's setting for something.
My lady, a question.
Proceed.
Is this man worth more to you alive or dead?
Right now, alive.
Then
We'll see how he answers questions.
Then I may leave the line of questioning to you.
What do you mean dead? What, for trading spice? Sure, I'll admit to it. Jamelia was in on it because I want to do a little bit of, I want to know where the better spice fields are. Call it a little bit of inside trading. Why can't I get ahead while one house hands it over to another?
I appreciate the admission.
What's wrong with that? Yeah, we were working together. We had to keep it quiet because she would get kicked out or arrested like I would.
Why was she afraid of you?
Because she was getting in too deep. She was afraid of me if I were to be captured, like I am now, apparently, of turning her in as well. like I am now.
You would do no such thing.
I just did.
Did you?
Do you want me to prove it?
No. Sit down.
Why?
Because I have questions to ask you. You can
Then
either
ask
do
'em.
this the easy way or the hard way.
I can
Please
stand.
sit down.
I can
Sit
stand.
down.
You're
You're
in
gonna
my
wanna
house.
sit. Do you know who I am?
I can guess. You all kind of dress alike.
What do you know of us?
Right. I do want to point out that felt racially charged. I felt like
Well, it's
I felt like that
definitely-
guy was
It's definitely
definitely
culturally charged.
very.
It's just kind of like, yeah, I know you're a witch. And he just kind of shrugs. He's like, go ahead, get in my head. Everyone
What is
knows
it
what
that
you
you know
witches
of
can
us?
do.
What do you know of us?
You can force things on people. You can get in our heads.
So that's what you think I can do?
Can't you all do that?
I'm going to use hidden motive and make sure that that's what he thinks I am.
Damn it. Why don't you
You see
let
that
my
coming?
NPCs do something? Okay,
Actually, here, I'll do that.
yeah, he's attempting to use and understand on you. 100%. He's going to use power. His statement is, success will reward me well. He's only rolling 2. I'm not going to use a threat on this, but he is using a focus.
Ew.
Yeah. Oh, darn. That was only a difficulty 2. And I just had effectively 2 momentum. So my threat's back up to 16.
Cute.
And he
That's
just
okay.
looks at you cold.
Well, I guess it's the hard way. Using the voice now because she's irritated. She is very, very strongly suggesting and asking, why did you instruct Jamelia to hide your motives when you're trying to kill the son of House Atreides?
Oh, fuck. Okay, this is going to go off the rails really quick. Yeah, we're doing communicate. He is aware that you're Bene Gesserit. He just aced that understand. This is going to be a difficulty 3.
Okay, I'm going to use, I think power would be the smart drive to use here. And I have my statement of powers given to those who can keep their composure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, I'll give it to you absolutely. So yeah, communicate power. You want 3 successes. Would you like to continue to guess not. I was going to say if you'd like to add to my threat.
Well, there's momentum.
I
in there.
mean,
And you do have momentum.
You do have momentum.
I
The
hear,
momentum pool is full.
can I
Yeah,
use
you should use it.
momentum?
Oh,
You can use
you don't have
3
to
to
ask.
buy 2 more dice.
Okay. All right. How do I add that to this now that since I rolled that?
Just roll basically do it again.
Okay.
Yeah. Do that exact
JK.
roll again.
JK, so communicate. I'm using my power. Hey, there we go.
Nice. That would be 3 total. That his eyes go from cold to just those doe eyes of being mentally dominated. I'm not trying to kill the Duke's son. I'm using Jamelia to get me information about spice mining, and I'm handing off that information to other people.
But while Lyra is questioning, could I just, since he's getting mentally dominated, could I just start like searching around his office for things?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. Without question. Yeah, I'll give it a 1. Just yeah, just let's do a understand. No. No. Because I know your focus. I want a discipline because you're going to totally use that focus.
Yeah, because my discipline is counter espionage.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm gonna do duty on this one. I'll put the light so it may create the shadows I operate in.
Got it.
So I'm getting the dinginess of it.
Fuck it. I'm using a threat. Difficulty 2.
Okay, difficulty 2. 2 dice. Using my focus. Let's go. Oh, thank God. That's 2, right?
Yep.
Okay.
He is looking dead straight at Lyra. And he is explaining very plainly that he's not trying to kill Paul. He's not trying to kill any of the Atreides. He's trying to undermine their spice production and pass off information. Which Novieh, as he's saying this, and you're kind of glancing around the room, you do see a small piece of folded paper, kind of like a letter. And there's a stamp on it that you can just see on the outside. The stamp is circular, kind of a 3/4 circle. There's a very long spike coming off the top of it. You immediately recognize it as the symbol for House Harkonnen. And that's where we'll take our break. As we started a little late, but we still about an hour and a half in, and come on, gotta break on that. Like, oh shit, Harkonnen. So everybody hang out. I've got to get some more tea. I'm pretty sure my players have to go. So yeah, we'll see you in about 5 minutes or so. We're here on episode 6 of Dune Desertfall. Welcome back, everybody. I have a distinct feeling I'm about to get my ass handed to me. As if you missed it before the break, Sister Lyra has used the voice on Anton Garrus, who is a spice trader and who is also kind of responsible for getting very secret spice mining information out of the Residency, thanks to his girlfriend, Jamelia. However, while he has succumbed to the voice, Novieh has glanced around and seen a small piece of paper with the House Harkonnen sigil on it. Arzu, you're moving to the patio?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you do see the exterior door. It is currently closed. And Demira, you're heading to the rear.
Yep, I believe that's the directions.
That door is open.
Okay, I'm gonna definitely get closer to take a look.
Okay. You look in, and it's a very quick, very quick hallway, and you can see the kitchen and what would apparently be the pantry and a larder off to the side.
Okay. And there's
you-
no sign of anyone else.
No, and you do hear talking from the front of the apartment. And there is also a small ancillary hallway that you assume, because you walked around it, is the door that leads to the patio.
Okay, after checking to see, making sure that it's secure, Demira will go, find Arzu, to report back.
Okay. He's just around the outside. Now the song's stuck in my head. Damn it.
Everything's clear.
Excellent.
So there's a slack-jawed Anton locked with the gaze to Lyra, and Novieh, you notice the Harkonnen sigil. And Anton is saying repeatedly that he has no idea and he's not murdering any heir, and that he is just getting information on mining and passing the information on.
Sister, and he walks over and hands her the letter with the Harkonnen sigil. I don't believe I don't believe it's this man that's masterminding this, but I do believe that he knows who is.
Lyra turns to Anton and asks, "Then tell me who is leading this operation?"
Absolutely let those roles carry over, because that's just beautiful. I don't know. I'm only here as a deep cover information gatherer. And I'm using Jamelia to get information. And if I got caught, I'm taking her down with me.
No, you're not.
Would you argue, Trevor, that he is I can hear him from the patio?
Oh yeah, no, he's being loud.
Okay. I just want to make
His
sure
voice his voice is echoing through the house.
Okay. Is the patio door in such that like there's a window that I can see this happening from my vantage point, or like
No, it's a
Okay.
solid door.
Okay.
Windows aren't very common because heat.
Fair. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, cool. I'm gonna stay there, but I'm gonna keep listening.
In fact, Anton, you're never going to use women again. Do you hear me?
Yes.
At that point, Lyra, like, this is like a very like slow-mo cinematic point, but Lyra turns over, makes eye contact with Novieh of like, take care of this situation, and she just walks dramatically away. And I have the letter still from Harkonnen, right?
Yes.
Cool. So while that's happening, hopefully it's like a slow-mo montage. Novieh does what Novieh does, and Lyra opens the letter to see what's inside.
Oh, Novieh. There's definitely a moment between Lyra breaking contact with Anton and anything you might use. So if you'd like, you can go ahead and give me a battle roll at a 1.
So, oh,
While that's happening, once Arzu hears the conversation stop, he's going to just quick turn to Demira and go, "Seems like Sister Lyra's got this well in hand. I think we can go back round to the front."
Lead the way.
And he does. Sorry,
They head
go on.
around together.
he Novieh still has the ID card, and
Yep.
And as Sister Lyra walks away, I think he says, "You cared so much about this piece of plastic. Um, the funny thing about identity is you can never really get away from it." And he uses it in order to like crush a windpipe.
Yeah, no, go. Oh, give me that battle assassination.
Okay, so
Improvised
battle,
weapon.
improvised weapon. We're doing
I'm
truth
seeing
on
a
this
theme here.
one.
A theme with
Mhm.
the whole neck area.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
If you're-
There's 3 momentum in the pool if you want to just throw in one
No,
for
no,
shit's
no,
sake.
no, no.
Okay.
So 2 dice.
Yep.
I'm using my focus.
Yep.
We're hitting submit.
God damn it.
That's a
Bruh.
one.
Well, 1, the momentum pool's up to 5. 2, there is this brief moment of recognition as when Lyra breaks eye contact and the connection with the voice is severed. And he's not that strong-willed. There's that look of recognition as you walk up to him. And very quickly, the eyes flick down toward the ID, and you say that, and he looks back up at you right as it's coming in. And there's this brief look of surprise as he just crumbles and falls onto his desk, just face first. Papers scattering.
As my last quick act, is there anything in here that would incriminate Jamelia and we can just remove it from the situation?
Looking around really quick, there's absolutely, you see scattered pieces of paper are the missing files of spice mining and missing reports and quite a few things that could be traced back to the Residency, at least.
I gather
Jamelia specifically, without ransacking the whole house, immediately right here, there's nothing.
Okay. Because I'm thinking, should we take the time to kind of like wipe Jamelia's hands of this so now she's kind of held to us?
It's up to you. Do you want to search? Do you want to search the house?
I do want to make the, yeah, I do want to search the house.
Okay. Just give me a quick understand it 1.
Quick understand. Let's do duty. 2 dice, no focus. Okay, that's a 1. That's a 1. Okay.
You find a small necklace and a shawl that look like they were either left here or they were going to be gifts.
Is Jamelia still outside?
No.
Okay.
She left very quickly.
All of the paperwork I hand when I walk outside, all the paperwork that I grabbed, I hand over to Arzu, and then all of the personal items I hand over to Lyra.
While this was happening, did I catch anything in the letter?
Yes. In fact, you do. It's very brief. And all it says is your information has been considered. Do not come to Carthag. Carthag being the other major city in the area that the Harkonnen were using as their headquarters and residency, that Raban was using specifically as the residency, and where all the Harkonnen spice mining went through. So some information has been passed to Carthag, and he has been given specific orders not to return.
Well, he definitely is not going to be returning in the way he was hoping.
Lyra folds up the letter, puts it kind of in her pocket, just as the Novieh is like handing her like the rest of the stuff, and kind of just proceeds.
I'm assuming you're just going to leave Anton's body in the apartment?
Arzu didn't touch anything, so for all intents and purposes, he was never there.
He shot himself, so that's unfortunate.
Novieh, how did you dispose of the last body?
That may be something we shouldn't talk about here in the open.
We're inside still, right?
Oh, I thought we were all outside.
I figured y'all.
Oh, I
out,
thought we were
yeah.
inside still. Okay.
No,
I
you
wouldn't
were
say
the last. You were the last one in.
I would not
Lyra.
say that
Okay.
in the out.
I was
Hey,
gonna say, with all due respect, Sister Lyra, we may not want to talk about this out here.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that. I
Trevor?
thought we were inside.
Trevor, would I know about maybe the flammability of spice?
It's not very flammable at all. It's
Okay.
it's a powder,
Okay.
and just you begin to hallucinate a lot if you have too much of it.
Okay. I was gonna say
There
if
is
we
plenty of flammable things in this house, however. Papers, a wooden desk, couple tapestries, a bed.
I'm assuming there wouldn't be like a hearth or anything like that.
No.
Okay. I want to try to make this look like an accident. So is there like some sort of kitchen?
Yep.
Okay. I rig when we ask about the body, I just go back inside wordless and I rig the kitchen.
Okay.
Do I need to roll anything?
No.
Okay.
No. No.
There's
easily enough time to go in, find the shawl, find the necklace, and leave a burner on with like something very close to it that's flammable, effectively.
I walk outside and I say very quickly, we may want to leave the area.
Oh yes, we should go immediately. And Arzu is kind of doing like that whole like let's go kind of motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like this. I think the scene it's a very brisk walk from all of us. Something you haven't seen us do yet, but it's a very like brisk, a little bit hurried walk.
You're leaving the area, and there are people that are kind of glancing around that look at you all and then just turn away, and they're still eating and drinking. It's none of their business what happened. They don't care. Some poor outworlder's house has caught fire. Why give a damn? And you're briskly walking away, and then you begin to kind of casually go. And that's when down the thoroughfare, you see Jamelia and Shala coming back at a quick pace.
Arzu looks at Lyra.
Yeah, Lyra's kind of like a little bit stunned, wondering why they're back out here again.
They come up and they both nod at you. Mistress, all of us are returning at night. How, what can we say? And they look very concerned.
You were on my orders to take care of business. What else is there to say?
Mara will want to know.
Lyra, you have done quite a lot this evening. If you don't mind, Mara can direct any questions about your whereabouts to me.
I appreciate that, Lord Reese.
You don't even have. Thank you very much.
Should we buy something real quick and take it back to the residency like we were shopping? Is there anything you need? miss?
No. Like I said, she can direct any questions about your whereabouts to me.
Okay.
Actually, Lyra hands over the shawl and the necklace to Jamelia. Gifts for you.
Her breath catches. Very suddenly aware of what they are.
You'll never have to worry about him again.
She bows her head. He made me leave these here as a threat that if they were found, it would be evidence that I helped him.
Consider that evidence gone.
And Shala is looking very concerned at like kind of back and forth between Jamelia and all of you.
Lyra once again once again uses the sound but looks at Shala this time. She just goes tsk.
And they turn and start heading back to the residency. Quicker than the four of you.
Shall we get to the residency? It seems like we have some things to answer for.
Let's.
Walking down the main thoroughfares, very, very easy. You can keep the residency in sight. Occasionally, a water seller or someone with food begins bartering at you to purchase something or to come try some tea or various things like that. And again, very strong smells as you walk through the bazaar. And you come up to the main gates of the residency. And Cora is there, kind of casually, just as he's not really guarding, but just watching out. And he looks kind of confused. He's like, Shala and Jamelia came in minutes ago. And now all of
Indeed.
We can go into the city to get anything you need.
Oh, yeah. It was a desire to see the city. And I expressly asked for the two of them to escort all of us.
Oh,
I do appreciate it. I will take this into consideration for the future, but just know that that was the reason for their exit and return.
oh, okay. Uh, and he just opens the door a little wider to let the four of you in.
Cora, was it?
Yes, sir.
Sister Demira would like to speak to you privately.
Is this about Aisha leaving?
No, it is about other matters.
Yes, ma'am.
Why? Were you connected to Aisha in some way?
No, it's just that Shala told us that Aisha left because she was upset that Arvio left. Apparently, they had some sort of relationship.
And why does this concern you?
It's just we're down 2 staff members, ma'am. It's more work to share between all of us. And we have to get this ready for your family, your house to arrive.
Well, that is part of our discussion, how we will distribute certain tasks going forward. But do not fret. We have more of House Atreides servants coming, so your load will not be heavy for much longer.
Thank you, ma'am.
Shall we?
Indeed. Cora, I want to thank you for your candor and the easygoing way in which you have taken in what we have told you. It means a lot to me. I want you to know that.
I'm happy to serve, sir.
Y'all can call me Arzu. And
Thank you,
he moves
Arzu.
past. He moves past and into the residency.
Okay. And he, as you all move, he closes the door and secures it. He's on the interior now because apparently everyone is back that he knows is supposed to be here. And the walk into the residency is uneventful. You walk past those 20 tall the palm trees and then into the main entrance. And you smell a rich smell. Scents are very strong, very spicy. Again, coming from the dining room. And there's the sound of plates clattering. A little bit of conversation, not very loud. And where do you all go from the grand foyer?
Arzu's going to head to the basement.
Okay. Demira?
I'm going to be heading with Cora in the direction of, well, it's around the time that dinner would be taking place, correct?
It's either taking place or just finishing up.
Okay. Probably in the direction of the footmen's quarters.
Okay. So up the staircase and got it. Okay.
Yeah, kind of in the direction where like they're living, like the footmen are staying separately, and kind of like almost in a way just kind of going over the tasks that now will be distributed differently, like kind of running through the schedule as we're going to that place. But once we get to that area, she plans on like talking to him a little bit more privately.
Okay.
But the
Novieh?
conversation is just tasks.
Got it. Novieh?
I take Shala to the kitchen.
Okay. And Lyra?
That leaves me with Jamelia. I will take her with me, return her to her quarters, make sure that she's well rested, because I'm sure she's a little frazzled by that. And then
In the
when
residency, she is just sagging. She's done with the day.
yeah,
It's
so
that
I roll her into
exhaustion.
bed. Yeah, I roll her into bed, like kind of wrap the blanket around her, like kind of tell her a short story to kind of get her to like nod off. And then I am going to head towards the guest rooms? I can't remember where the other like minor houses would be staying.
Yes.
Okay. I'm heading there because I need to grab something from, I know this sounds bad. I don't mean it to be bad, but I need to grab something from my sister's chambers.
Okay. Let's go back around the horn. Arzu, in the basement. Again, the broken glass has been swept up. The boxes that were being used as a impromptu poker table or card table and chairs have been restocked. And it's much tidier than it was when you found Arvio in there.
Has there been anything to suggest that like anyone has been back down here in any sort of like lounge like Razi, perhaps since RVO was last here?
It doesn't look like it. No, it's very, very clean. Like someone came in who was now charged with possibly RVO's job came in here and tidied everything up. I mean, the basement is large. There's a couple ancillary rooms. There's series of shelves for storage and wine and food. There's small work tables with tools on them. This is kind of the industrial area.
Arzu's going to he is no Bene Gesserit, so this is only going to be his best ability, but to do so. But he's going to quiet his breathing. He's listening to the space and he's moving through it quietly. He wants to hear if there's anyone down here, and he's going to move through the basement towards the shield generator.
Okay.
Or if he hears like any beeping or any sound he's keeping in ear, other than like as he approaches the shield generator, I'm sure it makes some sort of noise. But
oh yeah, the shield generator is off, but there are auxiliary. Well, first, before I get to that, are you mainly trying to move quietly or trying to hear as you're stepping through
more
the space?
Here? I'm not like I'm more worried about hearing something than being heard, if that makes sense.
Okay. Please give me an understand roll. I'll say a difficulty 2.
Okay.
Because you're trying to contemplate and, well, understand the area around you.
I mean, I'm tempted to throw constantly watching at you again, but
I mean, you can. I will just no, I won't.
No.
If you want to throw constantly watching at me, I will.
No.
Well, you're trying to detect danger or hidden enemies.
Yeah, I guess I am.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, look, you're reducing the difficulty 2 to a minimum of 0. There's no one here. The basement is quiet. You may hear the sound of a scuttling mouse or some sort of pest. And as you approach the very large doors of the room for the shield generator, these doors are massive, easily accessible. They're not locked in any way. And there are auxiliary batteries that are on and humming, but the shield generator itself is off.
Okay. I want to open the doors.
Okay. To the shield generator room?
Correct.
All right. As you open it, they're on very, very well-oiled, well-machined rolling doors. They're kind of like blast doors that open. And there is a large amount of machinery, electrics, control panels, huge things. Like, this is a shield generator for the Residency. When this turns on, the entire building is surrounded by a shield.
I would argue that the room for a shield, like a shield generator room, being in the air of a minor house, that he would kind of understand pretty well what it would look like. Like nothing in this should seem out of the ordinary. Is that a fair?
Oh yeah. You've dealt with them before, and or at least talked to technicians, and you may have seen it going around your own house or gotten a tour of one in Caladan. But yeah, it's a massive machine that generates an impervious shield, just like a small personal shield, just on a
much larger scale. Yeah. Would I see anything out of the ordinary like anything that doesn't belong in here, or any potential signs of like sabotage, perhaps. Because I'll lay my cards on the table for you. This is like the one place that we have spent the least in. And
True.
if there's somebody setting traps, I'm thinking if they're setting a trap, a great way to set a trap is to make this whole building vulnerable via the shield generator, whether blowing it up or disabling it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, without a doubt, something like that would, yeah, it would cripple the building.
And it occurred to me when we were at Anton's place that, like, I was looking at the map and I was like, I was in the basement once and I caught RVO there, and none of us have really come down here to look since. So I want to know if there's anything that shouldn't be here.
Okay. I would
And
like
yeah, go ahead.
an understanding of 4. I would argue that constantly watching will not apply.
Okay. I will happily spend some momentum.
Okay.
I do have a focus danger sense.
Okay.
And I think I would go with justice here.
Ooh.
I must speak for those whose lives I command. So
how many dice are you spending? There's 5 in the momentum pool. 1 for 1, 3 for 2, or well, you can't use 6. But
no,
yeah, if you want to spend 3 momentum, I'll give you 2 dice.
I'll do that.
Okay, 4d20. You were looking for 4 successes. And a chill fills the room. Holy shit. Okay, for those watching that roll, he needed 4 little things that said 1 or 2 things that say 2. That is 6 successes on a 4. Now, in the 2d20 system, the difficulty is a maximum of 5. That's an epic difficulty. This was 4, which is dire. Like you're looking for something that is well hidden or complex lock or something like that. To the side of one of the large distribution points from the batteries on the exterior of the room, you notice a very cleverly hidden door. It's closed. But it seems like there's just a small, very, very cleverly hidden, very well, like you would have to squeeze yourself behind this transformer, and the door slides open just wide enough for a person. It looks like it should be some sort of, techs, a technician access panel, but it's out of place.
I'm gonna explore that.
Okay, the door is unlocked.
I'm in. But before I do, I reach into my pockets, the ones that when I said I like you couldn't see my hands, those pockets, and they emerge, and they have little, like, they're almost like biker gloves, like that just cover like the main contact points of my hand, where, like, say if I were to grab a pistol, it covers that particular space. And I have in my left hand one of my heirloom pistols.
Ooh. Okay.
So they are both completely covered. So if I touch anything, ain't no fingerprints being left behind.
As you open the door, it just slides open. Again, it's just large enough for someone to squeeze through. You see a small work table covered in electronics. And something is being built. There's a small, kind of oblong box. The top is off. There's looks like some relays that are scattered on the desk. Small like heat guns and a small metal smelter. Someone has been constructing something that they didn't want seen.
Arzu walks over to the table and he pulls out the scrap of paper that he was waving at Anton earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And he puts his pistol away and exchanges it for a small pen. And he puts the scrap of paper down on the table and he writes something on it.
Okay.
And then he places the scrap of paper underneath one of the legs of the work desk. Just kind of folds it up a little bit so that if someone basically like put pressure on the table, it would wobble a little bit because it's now thrown off. The balance is thrown off.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going to take some of the let's say he's going to take some of the tools. He's going to leave the components, but he's going to take some of the tools and he's just going to stash them in the inner side of his coat.
Okay.
Again, he's making sure that he's only touching them with the tips of his fingers that are covered. And he is going to look around and try and remember what he's seeing in this space as clearly as he can before he slides back out. And what the scrap of paper says is, on one side, it says writ of ownership, spice stash Arrakis, and it's torn so that it just like the word Arrakis is kind of torn a little bit. And then on the other side, it says, I know, find me. A.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And he leaves the space with the tools in his pocket, and he's going to return basically. And basically what it is the piece of paper is torn, and it basically is like his one of his assets, which is knowledge of a spice cache. And it's basically meant to incriminate them enough, like, for them to think that they, yeah, like it's so just part of the paper,
Fucking
and it
rude.
says, I know, find me, A, and it is a nice clean A that goes like it's like an upside down V, and then it just like slashes through the center. And he basically takes care to put the door back just the way that it was, and he exits the shield generator room, and he is going directly to Demira.
Got it. Demira, you take Cora up to the male dormitories. You do see that a couple of the other doors are closed. It would be more than likely Shakir and Uma's quarters. You're not sure if anybody's in them, being, hearing the sound of dinner from the dining room. And he, as you walk up, he kind of looks at you and with concern.
Well, hopefully now, after discussing the tasks and how they're to be distributed, that eases your mind a bit.
It does, miss. Yes.
We haven't had a chance to properly chat. Where are you from again?
Not here. I'm from a small planet near the Carino system.
What brought you this way?
Spice. I thought I could make some money and I didn't. So they were hiring here years ago. I've been eking out a meager existence the whole time. They needed somebody big. I can do that.
Are you happy with this meager living, as you said?
It's good work. It's hard work. It's honest work. I have good friends.
Were you friends with Aisha or the Shakir?
I can't stand Shakir.
That
Shakir is
seems to
such
be-
an arrogant, disgusting man.
It seems to be a common sentiment about Shakir.
Aisha was friendly. Everyone liked her. It's sad she's gone.
Well, hopefully she finds a place elsewhere. So what do you aspire to?
I like taking care of Umar. He's young, he's impetuous, and he's kind of like my son. I can teach him a lot of things. I know what life is like off of Arrakis. He's from here.
So you learn from him as well.
Yes.
You mentioned he's like a son. Do you have a family of your own?
Not here, no.
But back home, did you have children?
I did not have children of my own, no.
Understood. So as far as aspirations, this is it?
I would like to go back home at some point. So with something, so I don't seem like a failure.
Is that due to the lack of spice mining that you've done?
Because I'm a failure, yes.
Well, success is measured in many different ways. I have not heard anything negative about your work.
Thank you.
You seem to keep focused on your work and not cause trouble, like this Shakir you mentioned. Has he caused you trouble directly, or is it just his actions within the home?
It's not directly. Shakir and Umar are seeing each other, and I just think that Umar could do better.
Oh,
Shakir
you've
is
seen
arrogant.
Umar as well.
What do you mean as well?
Oh, maybe I misunderstood. Please continue.
He looks kind of confused for a second. Shakir is selfish. He's arrogant. He lets other people do the work. He was not as bad as Arvia, but Shakir is just, Umar could do so much better.
You feel a sense of protection because of your
Yes.
bond.
Yes.
I understand. Would you say that the Shakir, his work is subpar?
Subpar, shoddy.
I will take note of that.
Thank
Is
you,
there
ma'am.
anything else that maybe we should be aware of?
No. I'm
Anyone
looking
else?
forward. I'm looking forward to the Atreides coming. I believe they will be a benefit to the planet.
You do know. In what way
Yes.
do you feel?
They're better than the Harkonnens. The Harkonnens are horrid people.
I will not
They've
argue that.
they've effectively enslaved Carthage. I will be happy when each and every one of them is gone.
I see you have very strong feelings.
As would anyone that is familiar with the great houses.
Passionate. That's a good quality.
Thank you.
Well, if you have any further concerns or things you would like to report, feel free to seek me out or Lord Reese.
I will, ma'am.
You'll find that Lord Reese is very wise. He might be one to talk to.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I'll leave you to it.
Thank you. And
Good night.
he bows deeply. Good night,
And
ma'am.
good night. And she turns and she walks away.
Lyra, after putting Jamelia to bed, and you head across the upper floors to the guest bedrooms. To the one specifically that Demira is in.
Yes. Is she in there currently?
No.
Perfect. I know where she keeps this specific thing in her palm lock, so I'm specifically gunning for that.
I believe you actually the two of you discussed where it was. So yeah, easily found.
Awesome. I go to unlock the palm lock.
Since the palm lock is genetically coded, it is very simple since you are literally her sister. The two of you can open it with ease. And as you place your fingers onto it, you hear a small click, and a light that was previously hidden turns green on this small, very small, kind of rectangular chest.
Okay. Go ahead and open it up. And I'm going to take out what I need, which is my asset of spice. Palm that up the sleeve, and I'm leaving a note to my sister in our special language, and it's a quick note that says, "I'm sorry."
Okay. There are these two small compressed metal tubes that contain, I wouldn't say a significant amount of spice, but enough to turn a heavy profit on the right market. And you leave that message encoded in dots, and you do notice there's a couple personal possessions and a couple small notes written in the same language. And you take that, and you leave the note, You seal it and then place your fingers back onto it, and a second hidden light turns red and then quickly turns off.
I put everything back exactly as I had found it. And I take my leave out of the room, but just as I'm exiting, I pull out the Harkonnen letter that I had from earlier and run my hand over the seal before departing fully.
Okay. Novieh, you and Shala enter the kitchen. Basima's not in there, but you can hear she is loudly in the dining room. Again, continuing that no one appreciates her cooking and that she will once again have to do all the dishes by herself. What are you doing in the kitchen?
I motion to Shala to take a seat.
Okay.
How is she doing right now? Like, what's her
Seems
demeanor?
calm.
Okay.
Much better than she was. Probably as calm as she was when she was helping you wrap the body and carry it out before the question of how the hell do we get it out of the house?
Yeah, I would
Very
want
comfortable with
to.
you.
I would want to, like, because I'm sure that still, like, in the kitchen, there's still like remnants of like the meal that they're having outside. So I make 2 plates, and I set one in front of her, and I start quietly eating.
She does as well. She smiles a little bit and eats quietly. And you get the sense that she's enjoying the silence. That after the day, even though she's calm, she's regaining a lot of composure. She's purposely eating slowly, not shoveling it in her mouth nervously, and just savoring the moment.
You hear like the soft like clanging of silverware and all that, and when she finishes, I take her plate silently, and I kind of imagine it cinematically, like my back is to her now, and I start on the dishes, and that's when Basima comes in.
Okay. Basima immediately looks down at Shala and just goes, "Oh, so you're deciding to be as good as he is and help me clean." And Shala kind of looks up and it's like, "I'm sorry, Basima. My business is elsewhere. I unfortunately being in the city today, I was lacking on my duties and linens."
And Basima, I would say I did get to spend a good chunk of the day with Shala. Maybe we can use this time to speak more about your recipes while I clean.
Basima kind of looks disdainfully at Shala as Shala gets up and just kind of sidesteps her and exits the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And Basima immediately looks at you and smiles. It's like, well, at least I have someone here that understands. And she starts telling you about growing up in Arakeen and how she adds just a little bit of spice, the actual spice, to her meals, just to give it that cinnamon-like kick. And starts sharing recipes, specifically on a hot peppered beef that she's serving for breakfast tomorrow. And she's having a lovely time with you and growing more and more fond. Before it was just she was pleasant and would let you into the kitchen. Now she's actively enjoying time. She's kind of not really looking at you as a son, but definitely a younger, respected man.
Okay. I think that's where I would want to end my scene, though.
Got it. And just to check, Lyra, did you say you were leaving?
Yes.
Leaving where?
The Residency, I have some business elsewhere I need to take care of.
Okay. Didn't see this coming. Sure. It's actually quite simple. Just leaving the main residency. It's not really obvious. You're coming from the guest bedrooms. Everyone is in the eastern part of the building or in the kitchen or in the dining room.
I proceed on out and en route to go find a particular ally of mine.
Got it. You were given the message of where to meet. And it's been a long time. The duration of time between here's the message and meet here has been a little bit longer than normal. And because of the last number of days, both earlier in the evening, when you were walking through the streets of Arakeen, especially toward the higher end parts, and then when also flashing back to when Mara was taking you through the small crooked alleys where you commanded the head of those water bandits. The address is easy to find. It's in the middle of kind of between a crowded part of the city and not really the suburbs, because there's no suburbs in Arakeen, but the slightly more upbeat and area where Anton would live. And it's a very small home, more like probably only a couple rooms. Smaller door, nondescript, in the midst of a block of many of the same types of buildings. What do you do?
I look out, make sure nobody's followed me or seen kind of where I was at, and I'm going to proceed forward.
No one is really paying any attention to you. Like a couple people were just kind of like glanced at you, but much further up the block as you were getting deeper and deeper. This seems to be a very quiet area. People are already either sleeping or they're out in busier areas. And you open the door. The door is very silent. The hinges are well oiled. And you close it behind you. And as the room is dark, there's only a few candles lit. As your eyes adjust, across the room, sitting in a fairly comfortable looking chair, next to a small end table, and what looks like a small, possibly carafe of wine or brandy in two empty glasses, sits Vromus, your lover. And he looks up at you and he smiles. I heard some distressing news today. Just a scant hour or so ago. A certain messenger seems to have unfortunately perished by his own hand.
It was a problem and it was handled.
I knew you could do something like that.
Oh, we love a supportive king.
You needed to see me, my love?
Of course. Our plan isn't going the way we thought.
What's wrong?
Everything.
Is there anything I should say when I get back to Carthage?
I don't know if you'll make it back.
That's distressing news. I understand that patrols may increase when the Atreides go, and that when we leave the planet, it'll be kind of like a brief handover, but I thought you had plans. I thought your Reverend Mother sent you on some business. All I know is that you went to Getty Prime and then went back to Caladan, and now you're here.
Yes, all in Mother's plan.
Well, what can I do? My resources is limited. The house is packing up and, quite honestly, angrily packing and afraid.
Who's Anton?
Anton. Uh, Anton Garrus?
Yes.
A deep cover agent. He was supposedly trying to figure out information on the mining industry. He was using Naya as a go-between. Naya would
He's
be
failed.
giving. Oh, he's the messenger that died. Lovely. Wait, Anton has failed?
Yes.
This is distressing.
You'd think he was using a young woman under my liege.
Well, thankful for that. I'm assuming that you have taken care of any loose ends.
Of course. You don't think I'd be caught?
Of course not. I'm surprised that no one else, that, any of the Baron's spies have seen you. I'm most impressed. I don't know if it is the protection of your sisterhood or what, but it takes me a lot to get here. I am very impressed and always have been. And he kind of reaches out to grasp your hand and then just kiss it very gently.
I will note in Lyra's opposite hand is her Gom Jabbar.
Okay. He doesn't see it. He's looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like some brandy?
I'd love some.
Wonderful. And he pours 2 glasses and he hands you one. I stole this from the Baron's supply. It is a very special Imperial selection, something that the Emperor himself drinks.
She just holds the glass. She doesn't fully drink it yet. She waits for him to drink it.
Oh, he absolutely does.
So she'll drink some.
Unfortunately, I do not know how long I have on this planet. The spice production is, again, running down. Once Atreides goes, we have to leave.
I see. I do have many questions for you about the network.
Yes.
But I'm going to savor this moment first. And she's just going to take a long sip of the drink.
He looks at you and just smiles. It's been a long time. And he just takes a very long pull and begins refilling his glass, kind of motioning to fill yours if you'd like some more.
Sure, she can handle as much alcohol as she wanted.
Yep, Pranabindu. And yeah, and he just pours, and he's like, now, what are we going to do about the other 3? I know one of them is likely your sister. I had a couple people watch as your shuttle landed, and I believe they recognized her. But what of the other 2? I'm assuming they're quite loyal to the Atreides?
Perhaps it may seem that way.
If everything fails, how do I get you out? Again, my resources are limited.
I understand. If everything fails, I have to make sure that you're disposed of first.
Excuse me?
You're a loose end, my dear.
I am the one that is sticking my own neck out for House Harkonnen, telling you about our spice network, our spice trade, our movements? How can I be a loose end?
Because now it's very dangerous because the rest of the group knows about the spice trading.
Idiot. I would hate to have to get into a disagreement with you.
Likewise, I have the utmost respect for you.
Same. What if I go back to Carthage and go off planet when we all do? There won't be a loose end then. I will simply return to my house. I will go to Getty Prime. And I will probably work in the spice reserves that we have on the planet.
You promise not to speak of this ever?
I haven't spoken of you since. I haven't spoken of you at all. Even when you were on our homework. No one knows.
Let's make sure of that. I'm going to use the voice on him to tell him to never think of her again.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. He knows you have the voice, so he is going to hound her. But yeah, go for it. Would you like to buy any dice with threat?
How much threat are you at?
Currently 13. 13.
Too much.
Well,
A
it's
lot.
not 20.
It's not 20. I would be at 16 if you buy all three. And this is going to be a daunting, a very daunting. It'll be a difficulty 3.
How much momentum do I have?
There's currently, well, one faded from the scene when you went back to the Residency, so you have 4. No, Erzu used 3. There is 2 currently in the pool.
Okay. All right.
I have to update my D6. Sorry. Yeah, there's 2 in the pool.
Like a D6.
So you
Right.
can use 1 momentum to buy a die, or you can use some threat to give it to us. Or
Yeah,
me.
I'm gonna buy a die.
Okay.
I think you have enough threat
So it's going to be a
far.
difficulty 3 on 3d20.
Okay, fine. I'm giving you threat too. I need a success on this.
Okay. So yeah, that would be 4d20.
Okay, so I just do this twice, correct?
No, you can roll all 4 dice.
Oh,
At
that's right.
once.
That's right. Because I can edit it.
Mhm.
My drive. Oh, this is a interesting one. I feel like it's justice. Justice is served to those who seek too much power.
Yeah.
I'm gonna submit. How many die? There's 4. You said it's communicate, right? I'm just making sure I did
Yes.
this correctly. Okay.
Yes, it is communicate. That's 4. Let me see if I can counter that at all, because the base difficulty was 3. I'm using 3 dice. I don't have a focus. You have 4. Ah, damn it. No, I'm going to give it to you. Yeah, even though you have a complication, I'm going to give it to you. That crit. Yeah. Yeah. Because here's the thing. The complication, I would just take 1 away from you and you still hit. And I did not hit 3. So he just kind of goes blank. And it's like his mind just shuts down.
Yeah,
And
I
he's
think Lyra
just
has a little bit of tears coming out and she walks away.
he just stares into his cup. as you walk out the door, leaving Vronus Xandru, spice worker of House Harkonnen, behind. Arzu, finding Demira. Demira coming back from the dormitories and you coming up the main staircase. Kind of run into each other just in the hallway.
You got big problems. And he says it with a smile as he's like not looking at Demira in the face. Like it's kind of like as if they're just meeting and he just says something to himself rather than at Demira, if that makes sense.
There's still a mouse that we haven't caught. I don't like it.
Well, come with me, would you?
Of course.
And he's going to head to his quarters. And once he gets there, he closes the door and just kind of gives a quick scan to see if anything looks off or different. And once he feels confident about that, he opens his coat. And Demira can easily see that there's more in that pocket than what he would normally keep in that pocket. Like it's just like somebody's been down in the shield generator building something explosive. Or
My.
at
Someone's
least
been busy.
that's my guess. I went ahead and took the tools they were using, so that should slow them down a bit, but and then he basically relays exactly to Demira where the room is and what he saw in the room. So just to cut that off, I would wager if Umar did his job that Tess will be here come sunrise. He will I think like to see what we've dug up so far.
Well, from what I've learned from Cora, Umar will get the job done.
Good.
So what is the plan? There's multiple traps being set.
Well, for me, I don't think the plan's changed much at all. It's still doing the best I can for House Reese. But I think you did a very wise thing leaving that trap in place. I've set a trap of my own.
It's all going to get very interesting.
It should. Whoever was down there is going to find their little table a little askew. And once they do, they'll come looking for me. I think from there, you know exactly what to do.
What I do best.
Wouldn't have it any other way. Now, the only thing I'm concerned about is your sister.
I don't often see you with that look of concern. towards many things or many people.
Now, I'll go ahead and explain that. I know that you definitely deserve it. I just know that she has quite the amount of influence with our friends in the Atreides family, and I know she does not trust me as far as she can throw me, which, you know,
I can't
well,
even convince her otherwise, to be
I,
honest.
I wagered the two of you had a conversation, and I came up. So thank you for confirming that for me. But should she prove, shall we say, unwilling to understand, I would like to seek your counsel as to what I should do about that.
Well, if that does arise, leave it in my hands.
Sister Demira Azul, are you sure?
There's only one way to see where loyalty lies. It's when we are tested. Am I correct?
And he like shakes his head a little bit. Sister, I call me naive, but I have not once ever had to test your loyalty. I've felt it, and if I am to be betrayed, well, then I suppose I had it coming. But I can understand. I think the two of you are incredibly close. So I will ask again. I can remove Lyra from the situation without any bloodshed or any loss of life. But I want to know, are you sure?
What is it that you're asking?
I
Yeah,
have no
Arsu, what is it that you're asking?
I have no interest in seeing Lyra dead, just out of the way. So I can handle it if she refuses to listen to what I had to say about the situation. I just want to know, are you sure you want me to leave it to you?
I know how to handle my sister, seeing as we share the same blood. I don't think there's a question.
Well, if there is anything that I have learned in that short amount of time, is that I think that your sister's trust in me, or lack thereof, overrides her trust in you. Do
You
what you
might be
will with that.
mistaken by that.
I might well be. I have never claimed to be always right, but I think she distrusts me quite a lot. So
I don't believe you're the only one she distrusts.
fair enough. Fair enough. But enough of that. Tess will be here come sunrise. I will go and meet him, and hopefully we will have our little tinkerer in hand before the sun goes back down.
I have no doubt.
Well, with that being said, I think you should enjoy the rest of your evening.
Same to you, Lord. And by the way, you shouldn't doubt me. And she just leaves on that note.
You're right. You are absolutely right. regardless of whether she hears that or not, he's saying it out loud. And he slips off his coat very carefully, and he goes to his bed, and I would wager that there is space underneath it to slide something.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, it's not like a hotel level bed. And he slides his coat underneath his bed. But before he does that, he makes sure that his pistols are out of it. And he just dresses the bed nice so that it doesn't look like there's anything underneath it. And he sits on the edge of the bed, leans back a little, and just kind of laughs to himself a little bit.
Well, the night goes on and dinner is finished. Dishes are washed. The staff begins to go to bed, and Lyra quietly slipping back into the residency, going to your quarters, and everyone begins to rest until the sun comes up tomorrow. Or rather, it's almost late enough to say later that same day. And the night goes by quietly. The sun begins to rise. And it's 2 days until the Atreides arrive. And as everybody begins to stir, there's a scream. Lyra, you hear it first because you're nearby. Arzu, Demira, you hear it shortly thereafter. It's Shala. He's in the ducal bedroom, the bedroom that Duke Leto and Jessica were going to share. And in the bed, covered in needles, are the twisted bodies of Shakir and Razi. And that's where we'll end tonight. Here on Desertfall. Now that the threat has climbed even higher, please come back next week for episode 7. Out of 8, we're getting toward the finale. And once again, on behalf of myself, the cast, and Modiphius, thank you so much. Sorry we ran a little long, but we also started a little late. But we hope you have a good night, and we can't wait to see you next week. Good night.